Hi, I'm Macaulay Alexander Hills.
Hi, I'm Camille Brown.
Hey guys, I'm Santi.
Hi, I'm Allison Logia. I'm a rising sophomore.
I'm class of 2014.
I'm a rising sophomore.
I'm going to be a junior next year, and I'm studying computer science, concentrating in human-computer interaction.
I'm majoring in chemical engineering, and I'm super passionate about research on campus, actually.
I'm studying science, technology, and society.
I'm studying Earth Systems, and I'm also a music minor and very heavily involved in the theater community here at Stanford.
Michelle asks if there's any advice regarding the academic transition between high school and Stanford. The main difference is that in high school you were in school all day. Here at Stanford, you're only going to have class probably like 4 hours a day, and then there'll probably be some days where you don't even have class, which is pretty sweet.
You have to be really diligent about the time that you spend, because they're not requiring much from you. They're not going to give you any late slips or detentions for not going to class. That's really up to you. So definitely taking responsibility for your classes and your study time is a big transition between high school and college.
So Viv wanted to know if it was difficult to develop close bonds with professors and how approachable are they. So I was actually a pretty precocious freshman despite my knobby-kneed and wimpy appearance, and I had a lot of questions that I felt would be a great idea to ask the lead professor in a lecture hall. So I did the work. I found out that they had office hours. I tracked them down in their office, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to buck up all the courage that I have and try and ask them this one question, and maybe they'll have enough time to answer me. And lo and behold, after going to office hours, I ended up having an hour conversation with this guy who's the head of the department that I'm now majoring in. And pretty soon, it was like I had my own little academic cheerleader in my corner who just happened to be the professor of my class.
They're very good with emails, especially if you're trying to just meet with them or have a special project. I've met with a couple professors on different project ideas and apps and stuff like that I've wanted to go and seek them out, and they're always very, very excited to meet students, and they want to know what you're into and what you're getting yourself out.
I would recommend taking an intro sem in which you can get much closer to the professor in a 10 to 15 person classroom setting. And that's what I did, and that's how I found my academic advisor for my major. So it's very possible to communicate easily with professors if you get to know them in an intro sem or small class type situation.
Dennis asks, do you recommend an easy course load or a more rigorous one for your first year? I actually got really good advice from an upperclassman before I started who said, treat socializing like a 3-unit course in your first quarter. And that actually helped me a lot, because you are going to be transitioning into, figuring out where you are on campus, who you're living with. You have to make a whole new set of friends, and there's just so many different people, so many different things to do. I'd say go a little easy on your first quarter and then figure it out from there if you want to take more classes or not.
I would recommend going more around 3 hard classes, which are around 5 units or less, and then if you want, maybe a 1 unit or so, because just to graduate, you only need 180 units, and you can do that with 15 units every quarter.
Muzamil asked about double majors and how manageable they are and if they're worth it. Double majors take a lot of planning, so make sure that you're thinking about that at the very beginning of your Stanford career if you're at all interested in doing a double major. I myself was very interested in doing a double major, and I thought about it from the beginning. However, I realized that Earth Systems and Music are both very large majors, which would require about 225 units to pull that off, which is not a good idea, and that's why I'm now a music minor instead. So make sure that your 2 majors are small enough that you can actually fit it into your Stanford career, and make sure that you plan ahead.
Wyatt asks, what's your favorite class and what's your reasoning for that? So my favorite class was actually a core training class, which is just an athletics class that you can take at the gym. For me, I feel like it's really easy to get wrapped up in your studying and to kind of try to work really hard all the time, and sometimes you kind of forget about getting out and being athletic and having fun and being active. So I thought that core training was a really great way to make sure that I got out of my room all the time and actually did something active and got to see the sun.
My favorite class was COM 1B, which is Digital Media and Society, and it was taught by my now major advisor and thesis advisor, Fred Turner. And I love that class because digital media, I was kind of like, okay, I use computers, so I'm not really sure how that factors into things. And it just delved into all aspects of media that I interact with all the time. So the TV show I was watching, I got a chance to study it and like actually figure out what was going on behind the surface of that. And it was really the class that kind of convinced me to fall in love with my major.